Hi, my name is Stewart, co-president here at Guidebook. I joined the business back in 2015 and helped build the UK business from the ground up. I've always been passionate about events. My first job out of college, it was a sales role. I attended lots of different trade shows to find new business and build new relationships. And I realized then how special in-person events are. And so I'm very, very proud today to lead the business across the globe and to support our growth within the events industry, the education industry, supporting associations, and really getting the power of mobile into people's hands.
Hi, I'm Nathan. I'm the event and community manager here at Guidebook. I've been working in the event industry for over 10 years now, building events of all sizes all across the globe. I also was a Guidebook customer, launched mobile apps across hundreds of events over multiple years. And more recently, I've been leveraging the power of community for the event industry, but also within tech.
So for as long as I can remember, almost 10 years at Guidebook, one of the things, one of the anxieties, one of the concerns that people have always had is, I can't build an app. Can I build an app? Can I really do that? You're saying it's easy, but is it easy? Of course you'd say it's easy. And I know that you do a lot of interviews with our customers today, and I'm sure that you still hear that. We can take a design first approach. We can create a really simple drag and drop builder. But I think for many people, there's still going to be that fear. My team doesn't want to learn a new system. My team doesn't have time to take something else onto their plate. But you're a great case study in this, right? When 9 years ago, when you first started working with Guidebook, pretty much, if I remember rightly, pretty much overnight, you shifted from paper programs to an app for over 100 events a year. It was a pretty big and bold decision, a big and bold strategy. So, how did you do that, and how did you manage your team? Because you were organizing some events, but really it was your employees, reporting into you that were having to build these apps pretty much on a weekly basis.
Yeah, so it was crazy. And I think that was the best way to do it. Even now looking back, we ran a test with Guidebook and we did one event and we just said, so only one person used it. Built out the app, and we wanted to kind of get the market reaction to really limiting printing and everything like that. And it went well. Obvious bits of feedback, things that were going to take time to overcome. But then we flipped the switch, and that was it. There was no looking back. And initially it was really difficult because we imposed this on our team. This was the new way we were going to do things. And it's really hard to convince someone that the time they were spending on building and designing their PDF schedule for print and working with the design team on all these other components.
Yeah, sending emails back and forth.
Yeah, they were going to get this time back. And, you felt it. You came into the office quite a lot, and we hosted workshops and we were really trying to sell the value. And
I remember having like 50 people sat on beanbags and sort of presenting to them and showing them new features that we'd built, tips and tricks to build better guides. It was fun. There was a lot of energy going on. There was a lot of engagement happening.
Yeah. And I think people realize the first event was hard for everyone. It's the first time you're doing something new. Ultimately, they knew how to use the system, like the back end. It was easy. And I think for everyone, it's very easy to build an app. The next phase is, how do you build a great app? And I think that came with some time, and we had 15 core builders in our company. Some of those were enthusiastic adopters. And what you see with those enthusiastic adopters is they're going to have a positive impact on reluctant adopters, and we're checking everyone's app quality, and we can then have an example of, this is a great app, so this is what we should strive for every single event. But it was challenging, and we made that decision first and foremost based on cost. We as a business, we had a line item for our event printing. We replaced that with the app. We made money overnight.
Yeah, I feel like if I remember rightly, you basically cut you spent 50% on the app of what you were spending on printing.
Yeah.
Right? So you were able to save, tens of thousands of dollars overnight.
Yeah, and you think 120 events, it is a chunk of money saved. Yeah. So it was, from that side of things, it was a no-brainer. But what we quickly realized is event printing isn't just an event organizer's job. There's design work that goes into it. There's
Mm-hmm.
marketing work that goes into it.
Mm.
And like you said, there's a lot of emails, Slack conversations, whatever you use. We saw people were getting time back, you
Mm-hmm.
know, 6 months into that journey, and we can't put a value on that time. So yes, there's the obvious line item, but the value of people's time back, and then the value of making a better event.
I remember how fast you were building apps once you were up and running, because you were saying, right, we just did a finance event. We've got another finance event coming up. You would just copy that guide. You know, you would change the speaker list. You'd change the location. You'd change the floor plan. Obviously you'd update the schedule, but you had your template. You know, you knew the kind of content that went into a finance event guide, and you were just churning stuff out, weren't you? I mean, it was a really, really exciting time, especially back in 2016.
Absolutely. And I think you've touched on something there that I think is so important, is you can duplicate a lot of your work. Obviously, things are going to change event to event, but once you've got a structure and a format that you like, use it again and again and again, and update your content. And it speeds up your app making process. And it was exciting. We were getting pushback at events in certain markets because they still wanted printing. So we had to learn to overcome those objections, which meant we became sellers of Guidebook, right?
Yeah.
Which is a really interesting position to be in as a customer, because, you know, you've spoke about before about you have two customers, the buyer and the user. And we were having to learn the language that you were giving us of how to sell this in. But then we had markets where adoption was instant. They loved it.
Yeah.
They found paper to be annoying. It gets out of date super quick. I mean,
Yeah.
not just the money we saved because we got an app and we got rid of printing, it stopped the money we were wasting. I stayed up till 3 a.m., numerous events before we went mobile, because printing needed to be adjusted. Then we had to get the schedule ready so we could be down the print shop before the event started. It's ridiculous what we were doing.
Yeah.
And, you know, you think of events are high pressure, stressful environments. Take some of that pressure off.
Yeah.
People can be updating your app off-site, for one, so you don't need to have the person at the event who's organizing all this stuff then thinking about going to the print shop. So yeah, for us it was instant reward.
Yeah.
But it was challenging.
And at the start of this year, you came into Guidebook after over 10 years in the events industry. And for every single new member of staff, you know, every single new employee at Guidebook, we give them the task and we give them time to build an app. You know, we think it's really important. No matter what your role, I don't care if you're in HR, if you're in marketing, if you're an engineer, you know, you have to build an app, right? It's really important that we live and breathe our own product. How did you find that coming back in, you know, a few years since you built your last one?
Look, I loved it. And for two reasons. One, because the technology has evolved. I would say it's easier to use now, and it was easy to use back then. But for me, I wanted to challenge myself to use new features, new functionality that didn't exist when I last used the app. And I spent a bit of time in your tours feature, which I know a lot of our university clients use.
The campus tours, like
tours,
self-guided or virtual tours.
And I live in Manchester, so I made a city guide. I made a walking tour, which was a lot of fun and very easy.
You recorded some great audio for that as well.
And
had a soundtrack.
It did. I had a play. Like, guide building can be a lot of fun, and it's very intuitive to use. And to come back having not used it in a long time, the way I picked it up was seamless. You know, okay, there's new features and things, but I know where to find them because I've used it before. But it really did feel a lot easier. And tours, just as an example, is a different type of feature to use, but that was easy. That was intuitive. So for me, that was a good test of how's the product developed, how's that design-led approach developed. And I loved it. And, you know, we still tinker around in the back end now, and I look forward to seeing how it continually gets to progress for our end users.